And as you see, I kind of built a little bit of a city. This is the real low settings, and I didn't quite catch the explosion I made at the very beginning there, but I haven't figured out how to set the time for when it goes off or whatever yet. So when I figure that out, it'll be more cool. But yeah, it's a lot of buildings. It was a bit of, you know, effort on someone's part. This is the free asset that came with the pack for this stuff to show you what you can do with it. And I added the fires that you see there now. One of the things, I just passed 300 subs, so I might pack this up and then put a high-res version that you guys can run around in. And if you're on Android or iOS, maybe I'll figure out a way you can download an app and put it in there, and you can play around too, and you can go, hey, look at this, isn't this neat? You know, because I can even build for Linux. Okay, and the Switch, everything. So I don't know how I would get something onto the Switch or a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox, because they have to allow you to do that. They don't have discs you can put in anymore. So yeah, at least I don't think so. I haven't kept up on those machines in so long. I just anyway, yeah, it's pretty neat, man. It's pretty neat. And just show you where that. I might put some furniture in here because it comes in here. I'll put a little thing on there with some of the more active subs. I'll put all your nicknames up there. Yeah, that's it. That's the beginning right there. I want to get through the door. Yeah. It's doing 46 frames per second right now, and I have it set at a maximum of 48, so that's not bad considering this old hardware. You know what I'm saying, guys? I mean, if this just shows you how powerful this stuff is, and even some of the actual game developers were saying, you mucking around with old stuff is pretty cool because you get to play where the majority of people are. Most people don't have the high-end equipment that, no offense, but most streamers and most YouTubers have, which is kind of makes me a little in the unique field, eh? I had built it at the top high end, and it was dropping me down 20 frames a second. And it doesn't really look to me much different. It probably would to you. And see this motion blur? That's part of the issues, right? I would like to take that right out. I don't like motion blur. It kind of, I don't know. It has its uses and it doesn't, right? For this kind of thing, I don't think I need it much. But anyway, I just thought I'd get into a little bit of that. The pathing, I'll play with that some more too, and maybe go around the corner and do some other, loop-de-loops, and you know. Now imagine I put the jetpack thing on here, and start jetpacking around in the city, and you see how you can start to have fun with this stuff. I mean, I'm not even technically, what kind of a game am I going to make? What kind of, I know it's going to be a third person something, right? I like the idea of superheroes because it keeps it open ended for the technology, magic, and your superpowers. You can have it all, kind of thing, right? And you don't need to box yourself into a time period or a universe where people can be upset about anything you do, right? This is part of the, eh, you know. And if you don't like it, well, don't download it. Yeah, right, eh? I remember that when they said that, and then everybody went, yeah, okay, no problem. And then nobody did. Anyway, yeah. And that's some weird stuff. We're getting a lot of meteorites up here in Canada, eh? It's like I was saying, eh? Whoever's doing the aiming is – is, not doing it right, man. You missed me. Yeah, I want to get the jetpack in here so I can jump up on the buildings because everything has collision detection in here. I might even try it with they got a little spaceship template, you know. I'll just get the little spaceship guy in here and then I'll just fly around the city, you know, and then put a TIE fighter on on it or something like that and drive around. I don't know. See, this is the kind of fun I can have now, you see. It's kind of like its own game, you know. This is it's like making it is. It's that much fun to do this. And as you do, you play around with stuff, you start to learn little things, right? And yeah, I had a grenade pack and like a fire explosions and particles pack I was playing around with. I just tossed a bunch of things in, and as you can see, it's kind of not realistic because brick doesn't burn like that. But anyway, you know, I can move that stuff around, eh? It's like instead of having that right on the corner, right? You put it, say, inside, like on top, maybe where that this thing here is, right? That and it will actually, and if we see, there was a grenade that went off way back over here. It actually darkens the textures. So it's already got that baked in where it will, like right here, a grenade went off, and you can see how it looks all darkened, right? That's because the grenade went off right here, right on the wall there, or an explosion or something there, right? Now it didn't do something to the sidewalk, so we'll have to play around with that. Maybe have it in the corner or something like that. The next thing to do is to then go back to the what do you call it? The first-person story game. See how doors open and shut, and then bring those mechanics into doors here, and then you'll be able to open and shut and go inside buildings and stuff like that. And then I'm going to have to create stairs and rooms and furniture. And I'm about to bring in, I'll either bring in furniture or have to make some furniture, you know, that kind of jazz. I mean, this is a bit of work, but I'm having fun doing it. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm having fun. Whee! Yeah, and then I'm going to have to, I'll do a thing where I'm going to see in the blueprints if there's a way. See, when you retarget a skin onto a guy, if there was a way I could make a choice for that in the game. And I'm going to ask some people about that, because then that would allow me to use this but have different characters. And this would be like how you could have your dwarf, your elf, your, you know, or your this superhero, that superhero, and then whatever, right? And then you're going to have variables tied into stuff like that in arrays where you would have their powers. And then, you know, you look back on that example with the magic powers thing. Instead of, you know, magic, it could be a superpower of some kind, right? You know, etc. So there's just kind of think about all the little bits and pieces I'm showing you guys and why I'm doing and immersing myself in these little bits here and there. And I'm going to give those Blender guys a few more days to give out this so-called rig. I've made an account at this cloud.blender.org. They said the rig would be free. I want to be able to practice with what they're doing, right? And then and there's a step after that. They had another video, so I got to then go from that video to the next video, you see. And you get kind of hamstrung, right? Because if you look at this guy's video, he's literally hitting about 10 keys a second there at one point. So I'm gonna have to watch the video. What I'll do is I'll record his video, right? Bring it down to VLC here, and then I can slow it down to like 1% so I can see what keys he's hitting, and I'll write all this down. And this is what you do: practice it, see if it's doing what he says it does, and etc. Right? This is part of what I went through with several developers, was when they went from the 2.79 to the 2.8. Some of the user interfaces changed on them, okay? And supposedly to make it easier for guys like me that are getting into these things. And the old guys were like, oh geez, yeah, that's right too. I gotta, and this is why it's taken some of these guys a little bit longer to get their stuff out. But it's frustrating because it's now been technically what, you know, two and a half months, almost. We're almost going on 3 months now, where, eh, but they're suddenly looking at 2.81 now. You see what I mean? When you start making your update cycle so fast that nobody can get out any tutorials for anyone to learn anything, you know, it's gonna that will hurt you. And if you want a perfect example in the game world of that, go look at Stellaris, and you can look at their update cycle as they increased it. Okay, look at the number of users that were playing the game because people that made mods, right, it couldn't keep up. I mean, the learning curve just keeps going up and up the quicker you go, right? You know, people learn at certain speeds and don't have time. They got jobs, they got other things to do, life, everything else, right? Anyway, so yeah, no, I got it. I would like to rebuild this lighting, but it doesn't seem to want to work for me. So I'll look at a solution for that too, because as you can see, as I move, it goes weird, you know. It's like, why is it? Am I looking that way? Is it darker than when I look this way? You know what I mean? Anyway, have a good one, guys.